Good morning, Rabboisai. Nishmas Mordechai. Today's year is sponsored by Mark Steinberg. Doyle remembers Mark. His son got engaged and his son is getting married. In honor of the wedding tonight of Yudi Steinberg to Fraida Gersten. Be'ez Hashem, all the people that eat Shidduchim B'Korov. By Mordechai Sapoznick, Lzaicher Nishmas, my great-grandmother Rebbitzen Gitel Teitz. Haraboniz, Aidel, Gitel, Bas, Horav, Boruch, Dovid, Zichroin Levrocha. He wrote a thing here. I read it to myself. Leon Welcher, a great friend of the Shir, who's not here this morning. I'm not sure why. But no excuses now. Made his son, Shaul, got engaged yesterday to Tamima Spiegel. Who? Shauli. Leon is a Bezer Hashem will be here one of these days, and I'll introduce him to the Olam. He's a big friend of the Shir. He's the one that developed the app. So it's a tremendous simcha. Also, I gave him a yishkoyach, but we have to do a public yishkoyach. Everybody should get up and give me a yishkoyach. Avi Kamiansky donated this beautiful shots right over here. Look at this. It's 170 volumes of Mesifta. And Moshe Ehrenfeld donated that shots right over there. The Izvahadr shots. So yishkoyach to Moshe. Boys, I'm still on a high here. A few people contacted me about this. A number of people. More than a number. This amazing Milava Malka that they had last night in New York. Over 50 people who came together to learn Torah after midnight. There was good food, good times, and it's just growing. There's a lot of people out there that are shy. You got to get out there, meet the mishpacha. It's kedai. Jay Nathanson. I noticed the beautiful ad for MDY in Ami magazine this week. Givaldig. But here's the thing. The ad has a picture of you with a beard. Genevas das. Some Hamish Yid who went to Munkach and Panovich is going to be all pumped up to see a bearded Rebbe giving a shear. Then he clicks the link. He's going to see a clean shaven bus. He's going to throw it all away. That's the way to do it. You got to lie. For Torah, you got to do whatever it takes. Hook them in. Huh? Yeah, next month. And then the Modernish guy is going to be all upset. He saw the ad without the beard, and here he is with the beard. Big kids, so you can't win. I think the next Ami ad should feature the upcoming volume of Gaiva Del Yo. More Gaiva than before. Shkoyach. That's Gaiva Del Yo 2. P.S. What a great showing at the Flatbush Milava Malka. Shkoyach to all who arranged it, and for Binyamin Schwartz for the ride. Again, I don't know, maybe 5-6 people came over to me to tell me that my pshat when the paroiches looked like a woman, so they had a better pshat, they say. And he says, please do not share this email. I'm not going to share his name, but here's a person who said that it's supposed to be like a mother nurturing her children. And in fact, he's mechaven to Reb Chaim Weissman. There's also a big schus that he watches the shir, big Talmid Chacham from Lakewood, who wrote the Sefer Teres Yoma. He writes a lot to me. And he says that he saw this from Rabbi Mintzberg Zatzal of Meir Sha'arim. So the kids are, there's good, beautiful pshatim, the Olam's into it, Gevaldik. Mordechai Sapoznick, who sponsored today, he says, you mentioned the shear about throwing the blow with your hand facing upward and also downward. You compare it to throwing a ball upwards. So I found a sport where you throw a ball upward with a board motion, which is skee ball. And throwing the ball downward, slam dunking. Enjoy the cartoon that he made. He made a cartoon. I'm sure works hard, this guy. Here we go. Ski ball is a motion like this. Lamala ulamata. Okay, Givaldik. Only problem is it's after the sugya. Okay, here we go. Rabbi Isai, today is Daf Nun Zayin. Huh? 7 years. By then we'll have 3D graphics. It'll be a whole different story. So we're in the middle of this sugya right over here. Boruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shakol niyeh b'dvaroi. It's a shaila. Probably not from this base measure. There'll be another base measure, a larger one, better one. Yesterday we brought the pasuk from Sa'ir, the goat. The pasuk tells us that there's one sprinkle up above on the kapairas, the aron, the top part. You aim it towards the top. Oh, here we could use it. When you aim on top, ski ball action like this. Your finger is like this way. And then we have another pasuk that says by the par that there's 7 on the bottom. The dunk action. Hand is downwards. Great. Yishkoyach from Mordechai. And we said there's a hekesh. There's a hekesh between the two psukim. So we know that there's 7 downwards by the sire, and we know there's 1 upwards by the par. They each have something special, a hekesh. Yesterday, all the way at the end of the day, all the way at the end of the daf, we said it was the nace nigla that we took a daf that had very few lines in it, and we were able to stretch it out all the way to 8 o'clock. And as a matter of fact, all the way there, we were rushing. So the sugya is that what? The Torah says, V'chein yaseh la'ayel mayid. After you're done sprinkling all these things inside the Kodesh HaKadoshim, on the Evan Shasiyah, where the Aron used to be or is, first base of English, second base of English, you go outside of the Kodesh HaKadoshim in the Heichal and you sprinkle towards the Paroiches. That's from V'chein yaseh. Ask the Gemara now, that's today's Shiloh. How can we derive all this from here? This itself is called a hekesh. To know that a sar has 7 on the bottom is from a hekesh. To know that a par has 1 on top is a hekesh. So how can you take all that and then do another hekesh afterwards? It doesn't work in kachim. That's the Gemara's kasha. The Gemara has 3 pirushim to explain that's not as simple as you think. It's not, you can't learn from another hekesh. In certain situations, you could learn from a hekesh. Says the Gemara, by the way, my brother bumped into the Rav, who was a Rav for many, many years in Farakwe, in the Young Israel Farakwe, Rabbi Goodman. And he says, "You related to Eli Stefansky?" He says, "Yeah." So I want to say Shalom Aleichem to Rabbi Goodman, but why am I saying it now? Because he doesn't listen to the emails. He's like Yaakov. He starts to share after the emails, like you too. No, the Dailam here. So I'm saying it b'dafka now. Shalom Aleichem. And also, what's the guy's name? Cantor from Shalom Kinori's Dovid Cantor. David Cantor. Shalom Aleichem, David Cantor. Welcome to the shir. And the trip. I don't want to go into the trip now. We might have some issues. Hold up on the trip. Very important notice also. Right after shir, somebody came over to me and said that I made a mistake. Blatant mistake. He's 100% right. And a few people came over to me. Again, a bunch of people. Huh? Every day, at least one. Believe it or not. You just... And no, it doesn't. It's one of the things. It's b'dafka. I make the mistake b'dafka, and then I pretend that I'm an honor. The whole thing. It's part of the shtick. It makes other people. Yeah. What was the mistake? Yesterday I was like, "What's going on here? It looks like the Rambam is passing like Rebbe Yehuda." No, the Rambam is passing like Chacham. Like I couldn't believe it. I just read it wrong, because Rav is telling him to do like Chachamim. That there's two bases. And he takes the blood, puts it down on the second one, and then grabs from the first one. So there's 2 bases, and that's what the round basket. So everything fits in Givaldik. Okay. If you want to know another mistake, I said I wasn't sure, but I said that the Vilna Gaon story with the Chaim Volozhin asked him that Boruch Hu is Samech B'Chelka. It's not in Masechtas Derech Eretz. It's in Tanan Devei Eliyahu. Okay. Fine. Zok the Gemara. The rest I'm not going to say. Those are more embarrassing. V'chidavar halamed behekesh. 4 lines down. V'chidavar halamed behekesh. Chayzer umelamed behekesh. Could I do a second hekesh? Says the Gemara. Answer number 1. No. It's not as simple as you think that if you have a hekesh, you learn things from a hekesh, you cannot go and give it to something else. Hi, hemenu v'davar acheru v'loy have a hekesh. Answer number 1 is that the pasuk says mefurish that you have to do hazaz by a goat on top and on the bottom, by cow, by the bull on top and on the bottom. How many? The exact detail that we learn from a hekesh. That's not the main idea. Is in the pasuk. V'chi davar hayimenu v'davar achiru v'lo have a hekesh. Hanich leman damar lo have a hekesh. Okay, that's very good. According to that one man that says that that's not considered a second hekesh. Leman damar have a hekesh. At the end of the day, you're learning some details, and those details you're giving over. My ikele meiman. Says the Gemara, answer number 2. Another thing that you might have not understood, and with this concept that you cannot learn one hekesh from another hekesh. You're allowed to learn something completely different. Hekesh number 1 is telling me the amount of azos. That a goat has 7 on the bottom and 1 on top, and a bull has 7 on the bottom. Now I'm learning the area where you do it. You do it in the Kodesh HaKodashim, and you also do it in the Heichal. It's a separate. You're allowed to do that. You thought that you can't do anything. Once you have a hekesh, you're locked out. No, you could. You cannot take those numbers, 7 and 1, and give it over now to a donkey or something else. You can't take that. But now you're learning a makom. It's a different hekesh. That's okay. And finally, another third pshat. If you are only learning one idea, one concept, that's a problem. But over here, we get a package deal. We're learning the Heichal from Kodesh HaKodashim. Included in that is a little bit of a limud that I learned from the goat and the cow and the bull. How many? That's okay. If it's one concept, you can't learn one concept. If I'm learning other things and I'm throwing it in as a b'derech hagav, that's okay. So I learned it in one shot. I'm learning the Heichal. My main idea, my main limud is Heichal from Kodesh HaKodashim. I also do all this in the Heichal. And I'm also in one chap. I'm going to chap a little bit extra. I'm going to learn the amounts from the goat and the bull. Okay, listen, it's something that you need to sit and understand it a lot more. Beseder. Tana shumaza einoi maza ala paroichas. So we had a whole sugya that in the Kodesh HaKodashim, you don't chas v'shalom sprinkle the blood on the aron. You're facing the aron, you're at the aron, you're aiming at the aron, so to speak, but you make sure it never hits the aron and it hits the ground, it falls nicely on the ground. So there's a beautiful story. Rashi starts it here, but if you look in Masechtas Me'ilah, which most of you haven't learned, at least with me, because it was 2 years ago, before the cycle started, can't miss this opportunity of such an amazing story. It's a long one. It's a whole amud of a story, but I'll tell it to you b'kitzer. It's a great story. The Gemara says that there was a gzeira, 3 gzeiras from the Romans on the Jews. No bris milah, no Shabbos, and no Tyrus HaMishpacha. So Ruvain Isra Lubli, something like that, came to the Romans, and he dressed up like a Roman. What did he do? He cut his hair like a Roman. He shaved the front of his head. It was very hard to find this picture. I remember in Eli, it was a whole matzav. I found a football player, whatever, had to cut around. Shaved the front and had a long hair in the back. So they thought he's a Roman. And he said, Mordechai, he said, you want a strong nation or a weak nation? He said, weak. Okay, so why are you taking away bris milah? Let them have a bris milah, they'll be weak. Oh, gewaldig. He said, you want them to be wealthy or poor? Poor. So why are you taking away Shabbos? Let them keep Shabbos. They won't be able to plow the fields. They'll have one less day to make money. Oh, you're saying very good. And Tyrus and Mishpacha, sugar, you want them to multiply? Gewaldig. Keep it like, oh, say that. They're asking. Then all of a sudden, they see him walking around with the strimel the next day. So, you're Jewish, you tricked us. We're going right back to the 3 things. That's it. So what do? They bring in Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. He's Melubah Menisim. Reb Shimon Bar Yochai said, I need somebody else to come with me. So he said, bring Reb Elazar ben Reb Yosi. Reb Yosi, the father, says, you're not going, you're going to get killed. So Reb Shimon Bar Yochai says, and what about me? I'm not going to get killed. So Reb Yosi says, no, I'm not worried about the Romans. I'm worried about you. You're dangerous. You say one word, you turn into a mound of dust. You can't go on a trip with Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. I'm not sending him crazy, sending him son. So he said, I swear, I promise, I'm not going to do anything to your son. They go on a trip, and all of a sudden somebody asks the Shaila, is the blood of a sheretz tamei or not? So, Lzaicher Rabbi Yossi made the mistake of his life. He answers. And Hashem said, you did what? In front of me? Poof! And he got askara. And he's on the ground about to die. And then he realized that he promised he's not going to do anything. He dive in the whole thing. And somebody stepped on his neck. And the askara came out of his neck. Whole maisa. And then comes Ben Talmion, the head of the Shadim. He shows up, I'm here to help. So Reb Shimon Bar Yochai started crying. He said, the Shivcha, meaning Hagar, she saw Malachim. I get Shadim. But let's go, let's do it. So he come with a plan. And Talmion is going to jump into the body of the daughter of the king, and she's going to become a sugar. Kachava. She starts saying stupid things, crazy things, and the king's going nuts. Says, Reb Shimon Bar Yochai, I could heal. I know how to do it. So they let him in. He walks over to the girl, and he whispers, okay, Talmion, trick's over, go home. So he leaves her body, and she's normal. Oh, king's all excited. Now you can go into the treasure. Go into the treasure, do whatever you want. So they go into the treasure. And instead of taking gold and silver, Shalom Aleichem, instead of taking gold and silver, he takes the decrees of Milah, Shabbos, and Taras HaMishpacha, and he destroys it. And now, says the Gemara, Omar Rebbe Lzaicher Rebbe Yossi, Ani Re'esiya B'Roimi. What was he doing in Rome? Here. He was in Rome. He was inside the secret treasure house, and he saw a few things. What did he see? The paroiches. What's very interesting, Rabbi Kiva Eger on the side over in Gilead Ashah says, this is what he saw. I couldn't find it in Milah. In Milah, he doesn't bring it. Over here, he says it. He says, Machteshes shel beis aftinos. He saw the grinder of the Ketores, Shulchan, the beautiful Shulchan that we have over there. No, this is the Mizbeach. The Shulchan, the 12 breads. U'menorah, the menorah. U'paroiches, v'tzitz, what the Kohen Gadol had on his, and he says, Adayin munachim b'roimi. I don't know if it maybe means in those days, until this very day, upon him. That's what he saw. Says the Gemara, Ani resi b'roimi, v'hayu aleh kama tipe dam shel par v'sar shel Yom HaKippurim. And I saw the blood of the sire, the bull. You just told me that in the Beis Hamikdash, in the Heichal, when he sprinkles it on the paroiches, it doesn't hit the paroiches. It's just like the aron, that it doesn't hit the aron. Where does it go? On the floor. Ani re'esiya. That's what you asked yesterday. I saw it with my own eyes. There's no argument. I saw it. I saw the blood on the paroiches. I know that it was the blood of the bull and the goat. You know, there's other things that have to be sprinkled. If most of Klal Yisrael sins, or they do have a desire, they have to bring certain korbanos, and you sprinkle it also in the Heichal. The Chaza Davidic Sidron. It was in a beautiful. It's supposed to be one above the other. So we're saying it's supposed to be on the floor on the Evan Shaziyah. I saw it on the paroiches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In order. Couldn't be anything different. It was perfect shots. Kematzliv. I know. No. So Rishonim discuss. How could you argue with that? He saw with his own eyes. So Chacham are going to say, no, you did see it. But you saw a mistake. He was aiming. You're supposed to aim. You're supposed to aim at the paroiches. Okay, so he aimed the paroiches and he hit the paroiches. That's how it goes. You're supposed to aim at the aron, at the top of the aron, and it lands over there. So he's a little bit too strong. His aim was off. 8 times in a row. No, so maybe I'm thinking, maybe part of the blood actually hit the ground. But like a little drop hit because he did it, like he got it on the ground. And the exact reverse also happened. Now what? When you sprinkle, because look at this, it says in Perek Dal, Pasuk Yud Zayin, "V'tov ha'kohen es boim en Adam, v'hizo sheva pa'amim l'fnei Hashem, Eis Penei HaParoiches. I printed this because I thought it was very interesting because just the other day on Motzei Shabbos, we learned that it makes a lot of sense to learn the hekesh from a goat and not from a cow, because when you do a cow, you have the extra word lefanov to teach us for the rest of the Torah that Penei means in front of. And here's the case. Here's the case that Penei means not on, but in front of, and that's from that drasha from Daf Nun. V'im nagu. Okay, listen. You see, no, it's not the end of the world if it hits. You don't have to be that careful. You make sure you aim for the floor. You aim towards the paroiches. I mean, what's your aiming device? Your bullseye is on the paroiches, and you go like this. But you try to hit the floor. That you go. Now, if you're strong and hits the paroiches, it's not the end of the world. It hits the bullseye. No. Same story, but reverse. I saw the paroiches. This is interesting. Now I'm thinking to myself that this is a problem. Okay, well maybe not. I saw not the goat and the bull of Yom Kippur, but I saw the other ones that you do during the year for Avodah Zarah and Parel Dover. When there's a big boo-boo for Klal Yisrael, the Sanhedrin tells them to do an Aver, and most of them do it. They have to bring Parel Dover. Ask the Gemara the same question. How do you know what blood you saw? Because it was all over the place. It wasn't in a nice straight line. Only Yom Kippur has that halacha that should be straight. All right. What happens if the blood gets all mixed up? It pours into another kli. Now, you have a cup. And in this cup, instead of it being bull's blood, it's bull and goat blood. Delicious. What do you have in this cup? You have a beautiful mixture of bull and goat blood. So every sprinkle that you sprinkle on the wall, on the floor, is both. So what's the problem? You do 7 sprinkles, 8 sprinkles, and you yaitza everything. You yaitza bull, you yaitza goat. You don't have to do 14, you don't have to do 16. You do 8 and you're done. Unbelievable. Omar Bavloi Tipshoi. Mamish idiots. He's talking to Rava, the Galadar. Bavloi Tipshoi. Now, there is a Chavos Yair. It's brought in the Chofetz Chaim. Chofetz Chaim has the whole truth of Chavos Yair. That the Chavos Yair goes through the entire Shas, all these remarks that Amoraim say to each other. Famous one, you don't have a brain in your skull. All these insults, one after another, and he goes through each and every one. Over here he's saying like, Chavivos Eretz Yisrael. He's trying to say, Chavivos Eretz Yisrael. Vavlai Tipshoi. Tippish. Rebbe Avram Yafin says a mice about a tippish. I got to tell you a mice about a tippish. This guy, Mamish, he's known as the shoit of the city, of the yeshiva, and he had an unbelievable dream. He had a dream with the numbers of the lottery. He never played the lottery, but he said, listen, if Kosh Baruch gives him a dream like that, he has to go play the lottery. So he went and he played the lottery. And he won. So they asked him, what's pshat? He said, listen, I dreamt the number 18, the number 17, and 370. So the total is 415. So I put 415 and I won the lottery. This guy says, Shoita, it's not 415, it's 405. He says, whoa, what a nace, I learned math in Panovich. It's unbelievable. Okay. Mishum the dair ba'ara de chashoicha. They live in a finstedik makam, in a dark place. Amri shmaitze de mechashchan. Okay. By the way, this lashon is brought down a bunch of times in Shas. There's other Amoraim. It's B'derech Klal Rabbi Yirmiyah likes to say it. Because they live in a dark place, they say dark svaras. Why? What's the problem? By the way, I forgot to mention that Rashi learns this whole sugya that it was talking about. It got mixed up before the Kodesh HaKodashim. Other Rishonim don't like that because how did the goat blood get mixed up with the bull blood before he went into Kodesh HaKodashim? You have to go in order. According to Ula, we pass him like Ula, it has to be in an order. So he has to do the bull, and then only he could shecht. Remember, we learned, and then they bring the goat to him. How did the goat get shechted before he sprinkled the blood of the bull? You're not yaitz according to Ula. So he's saying, okay, fine. And Rashi is going to hold that he doesn't hold the Vula. Now, so what's the question? How could Rava say that he just sprinkles 8 times and he's yaitz both? What happens is, by doing so, he's sprinkling that of the goat, the number 1. I sprinkle number 1. What is that? That's the bull and the goat on top. So it comes out that the goat on top happened before the 7 on the bottom of the bull. On sprinkle number 1, I'm yaitz bull, I'm yaitz goat. How could I do goat before I'm done with bull? You have to be done. And this is ma'akiv, we said. And it's double lashon over here. Anytime it's double, in kachim, it's ma'akiv. It has to go just so, and if you do it any differently, no good. First, be done with it, and then go weiter. Says Rabbi Yirmiyah, Noisen achas lemalo v'sheva lemata l'shem hapar. Yeah, enochanami. You do 8, 1 on top, 7 on the bottom. You have in mind for the bull. V'chayz v'noisen achas lemalo v'sheva lemata l'shem soyer. Okay, so there's a whole nidan here, and it's negat to the Gemara later. We're not going to go into it, but just I'll say it if you want to understand it and look into it. If you hold mitzvahs ain't tzrichas kavana, you don't need kavana, so then it's a problem. Because I was yaitza right away for the goat before that, bekitzer. So they say, the Chazon Ish says, that over here is not a problem of mitzvahs tzrichas kavana because it's before it's available. The goat is not here yet. I'm not supposed to be doing goat. So I can't be yaitza goat when it's not available. When I could be yaitza esrig and I didn't have kavanah for it, I'm yaitza. But goat comes after bull. So right now I have no business doing goat. So it's 0. Even if you hold ein tzrichas kavanah, I didn't do goat. Okay. Said not to get into it, but you could look into it. It's a whole nidan over here. If the blood got mixed up in the final 7, Achraynis means the 7 of the bull. We're talking still about the bull. Number 1 is the beginning. Achraynis is the 7 after the first one. Now, if I were to ask you right now, without peeking in the Gemara, play Amoira for me a second. Mendy's peeking. Why? You learned it yesterday. You're looking in the room. Okay. What would you say based on what we just said? What is he supposed to do? He has mixed blood that happened. He did the first sprinkle was perfect, and now it got mixed up. What should he do? Continue with the par. That's what I would say. That's what I think everybody would say. So why in the world it says Rav Papa wanted to say differently? He doesn't continue just for the bull. He continues also for the goat. That almost doesn't make sense. Until now, they call us idiots. We're idiots of idiots, like the worst of the worst. Yeah. So they say, I saw the Rishonim that say that Rav Papa didn't know that that's what happened. But why is Rav so upset? Calling us tipshin of tipshin. They call me Gamrin and Lu of Gemiri. They taught us the concept, and we didn't take it. We didn't understand it. By you continuing on with the 7 on the bottom, you just did 7 before number 1 of Sire. Because what happened? You did 1 sprinkle. That sprinkle was only for the bull. Then the blood got mixed in, and then you continue doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the bull and the goat. Well, then the 7 of the goat came before the 1 of the goat. No, bull you did first. Bull you did first. No, you're doing it now. With the goat. With the goat. That's okay. It goes simultaneously. You did one of the bull. You did one of the bull, and then seven. You did one of the bull, and then the blood. Listen, you did one of the bull, and then the blood got mixed around. So you continue. Rav Papa thought to say you continue. You just do 7 for the bottom, and then one more for the goat on top. But it comes out that the 7 of the bull and the goat come before the one of the goat. You can't. First, you do one goat. Why not?
That's a question. It's also a question between them and top. The question is also you can't finish that. Why is he asking you just on the side?
Okay, I hear. Good kasha. He's saying based on the question we had before, v'chila mekaper. Okay. No, but the same kasha we had before, that you can't do it simultaneously. V'chila mekaper. First you have to do bull, and then you do this. B'kitzur, it seems like Rav Papa didn't hear the whole thing. This he for sure should have understood. Okay. Daf Amud Beis. Let's just finish this terrace, then we'll go to Daron. Ela marova noisin sheva lamato l'shem par. So yes, finish off the bull as we thought to begin with. Then you take the same blood that's mixed in. It has goat property in there. And then you start it all over and you do all the hazois that you need to do for a goat. Nishmas, Uri Ben Mattisyahu, and for the success in Gashmius and especially ruchnius of his grandchildren. So this is very pashut, very nice. The blood didn't get mixed in, but the cups, the golden vessels got mixed up. And for whatever reason, you can't look inside and see what it is. It looks the same, feels the same, it weighs the same. Whatever the thing is, you can't tell. We said yesterday the blood colors are slightly different. Okay. Kain is blind. Whatever it is, he doesn't see well. Not blind, because then it would be a balmum, but whatever. Tircha of the day, everything looks the same. He's blurry. His vision's blurry now. Yeah. Noisim v'chayzer, v'noisim v'chayzer. Noisim v'chayzer, v'noisim v'chayzer, v'noisim shleisha pamim. What's happening here? He sprinkles with the kli. Now, what's in the kli? Is it bull's blood? Then it's great. Bull comes first. Then he sprinkles with another kli. That's goat blood. That's perfect. Then he sprinkles again. So he did bull, goat, bull. That's fine. But what if the first one he did was goat blood? So we'll consider it as if nothing happened. So the first one will erase. Then the second kli he sprinkles. That's already bull. That's great. And then the third kli is goat. So you got the bull and goat. He did goat first. It doesn't count at all. Even if mitzvahs ain't tzrichas kavanah, it doesn't count because it's out of order. It's just possible. It's as if you did nothing. What? Nah, why? You just have to grab. So what? You could even gather it. No, not from the floor. But yeah. We said you have to catch all the blood. Catch, but you don't have to have all the blood. No. If you don't have any, then you have to. Says the Gemara, mixas damim nisar v'loi, or mixas damim lo nisar v'loi. So this is pashut. Again, another very simple halacha. You have, let's say, 3 kalim over here. Some got mixed up, and some not. Pshita. So then, of course, ki yayiv, now you're going to be using mivadan yayiv. Obviously, you want to use the blood that didn't get mixed up because you have a choice here. If you don't have a choice, all bloods are mixed, use the blood that's mixed. It's mutter to use because it contains everything. But if you have in front of you blood, bull blood, and goat blood in separate kalim, why use the mixture if you don't have to? Okay, so you don't use the mixture. But that I understand, says the Gemara. I was trying to get to something else. Miyuhanach, what about the blood that you didn't use? Kli number 3 that has a mixture of goat and bull blood. What do you do with it? Is it the leftover blood and any leftover blood that you did an avodah with? So you don't just chuck it in the sewer. You put it on the yisod of the mizbeach right over here on the bottom. Here. See, there's 2 holes there actually. I don't know if you can see. Way too small. See? Does the camera see it? I could be. Very nice. Right over here. Anyway, on the side, on the bottom. So, thank you. Or perhaps no, you don't put it in a special place. You just put it in the toilet. It was rejected. It's dachui. And since it's dachui, it doesn't belong in the mizbeach. It belongs in the sewer system that goes out to whatever stream it is. You're talking about a carbon chatos, that a person decided to catch the blood with two vessels. So even according to the Malam, it says you're going to use one, and the second one becomes as if it was used, and it's shirayim, it's part of the avodah. I don't just say, he used vessel number one, so vessel number two is garbage. No. Vessel number two is part of the avodah, I just didn't use it. It's like leftover in a cup. You agree with me that the blood left over in a cup is shirayim. I didn't use the blood, but it's part of the avodah. I used some of it, and some of it was left over, and that was which is left over goes in the mizbeach. So too, cup number two. That's because if I want to use cup number two, I can use it. I decided to use number one. Over here, I cannot use the mixture. What does it mean I can't use it? If I only had the mixture, I could use it. But since I have pure blood, so I don't use the mixture. It's not 100% asur, but they tell me don't use it. So it's not me. They tell me don't use it. So Mela, maybe it's garbage. Maybe it's not part of the avodah. I could say exact opposite svara. If you hold that if I use one vessel and I don't use the second vessel, then the second vessel is pure garbage. It's not part of the avodah. It's dachui, it's rejected. And if it's rejected, just throw it into the sewer system in the Beis Hamikdash. Hanemili, the dachi b'yadayim. That's if he himself rejected it. He said, there's two cups in front of him, and he said, I want to use A, I don't want to use B. So he rejected it. But over here, the Torah, the halacha told him not to use the mixed blood. He wanted to use the mixed blood. Has a nice hue to it. It's a nice color. Eat it. But he's not allowed to use it because the halacha told him not to. That's not considered rejection. Interesting. Okay, I wouldn't have thought like that, but that's what the Gemara says. Sanyo. Lemalu oimer, by the chatas of the nasi, it says vesdamoy yishpoich. It doesn't say kol damoy. The blood you should pour. Ulematu oimer ves kol damoy yishpoich. All of it. So over here it uses by regular chatas. It uses the lashon kol. What if you received all the blood in 4 cups? And he takes from all 4. He uses all 4 vessels. So this mandama, the Tanakama says you take all 4 vessels and you pour them out into the side. This is all part of the avodah. All the blood. So what? Why does the other pasuk doesn't have the word kol? Because of this halacha. What if he did the zrikas from 1 out of the 4? So now you take the 3 cups, pour it into the sewer. So over here it doesn't say the word kol to tell me what the special blood I pour out into the side, into the mizbeach, but what's not special, the other 3 cups that he didn't use at all, that goes into the sewer. He says differently. If he received in 4 cups and he only used 1, all of them must be, they're all avodah. Even though you didn't use 3 out of the 4, you have to pour them into the mizbeach, not into the sewer. Why? All of it must be poured into the side of the mizbeach. So what does he do with the other pasuk? It doesn't say kol. So what does he do with the pasuk that doesn't say kol? It's only special blood that you spill. What if you have real blood, meaning dam and nefesh, that you should have received in a kli, but you left it in the animal. So I think it's dam nefesh. So maybe if you squeeze it out of the neck, you should put it into the mizbeach. No. The special blood that's in the kli, only that blood goes into the mizbeach. Everything else goes into the amma, goes into the sur. Now, the next part is in the Mishnah it says, Eiro dam apar l'toich dam hasar. So the next avodah is, we're moving on, new sugya. You take the kli of the cow, full of blood, and the kli, what? Machlekes. That's machlekes, yeah. You have bull, you have goat blood. Now what do you do with it? So the Mishnah says, Eira dam apar l'toich dam hasar. He mixes them. He starts mixing them. Why? Because the next step is, this is Mizbeach HaKtoros, this is inside the Heichal, not Kodesh HaKadoshim, inside the Heichal. And now he's going to apply blood from these two animals onto this. Well, there's applying, okay. So, look at this pasuk for a second. V'lakach midam apar, u'midam asar, v'nasan al karnois ha-Mizbeach saviv. This is the Mizbeach that we're talking about, not the other one, the main one. This is Mizbeach HaKtoros. This is what you do the Ktoros on. But what is this pasuk telling me? Midam apar u'midam asar. Separately or together? So that's the machlokes. One man, the Amar says, they're together. From the pasuk is sort of mashma that they're separate. U'midam asar, v'nosan. V'nosan means one. Okay, so let's see. Says the Gemara, T'nan keman do Amar ma'arvim l'karnois. Our Mishnah that says Eira dam apar l'toich dam asar seems like it's going according to the Manda Amar that you mix them together initially. Now, when you apply the blood, there's two. We're going to see these later. You apply the blood over here. You apply the blood. We had it once on top. You move the coals away. You move the Ktoros to the side. You put blood over here. Over there, everybody agrees that it's already a mixture. That's not a machlokes. The machlokes is over here. So says the Gemara, Ditmar, Rabbi Yoshia, Rabbi Yonason, Chadoma Ma'arvim, Chadoma Ma'arvim. Machlokes. One says you mix it right away, the bull and the goat, and then one says nah. To stayim, the Rabbi Yoshia who the Omar Ma'arvim. Let's say it's Rabbi Yoshia. Why? Because the Omar Avagav the like Siv Yachtov Keman Dechsiv Yachtov Dami. So Rashi goes in the whole long thing. It says by a father and a mother, Ish Kikal Avimoy. From the pasuk is mashma that in order to be over on cursing a father, it has to be father and a mother. It says Yikal Avimoy. Now, but he learns because there's a limud, so it could be one. Even though the pasuk doesn't say the word yachtov. By a shar, it says Lzaicher shar v'chamar yachtov. So it's together. If it wouldn't say the word yachtov, I wouldn't know it together. It's one or the other. By ishki kalav, it's only because he has a special drasha he knows it's one or the other. So I don't need yachtov. In other words, by kibbut aveim, again, by kibbut aveim, I would think, by klala, the opposite of kibbut, I would think you need a mother and a father, even though it doesn't say in the pasuk yachtov, because just avivima means both of them together. It's only because of special limud, so not. So I don't need the word yachtov. So over here also, I don't need the word yachtov. It's both together. I put the blood of the bull and the blood of the goat together, and then I do my azais. Afilu teima, says the Gemara. Command dechsiv yachdo. Afilu teima Rebbi Yonason. Shani achad dechsiv achas. That's it for today. Hold on. This is a pasuk. Where is this? In Shemais, Perak Lam, pasuk Yud. V'chiba Aaron al karnoisav achas bashana. We learn from here that the bloods are one. I don't know how. That's how we learn it. Get into it at a different time. Achas. It's one blood. It's not two hazais. it's one, probably in main Indian, I don't know what it is, but there's an extra word here. And Memela I learned that it's one, so nothing to do with Yachtov and not Yachtov. It's this limud. Have a wonderful day. Shema Lois Mamakim Katzifad Inoi. Stop. Those are my